Hi. Today we will discuss dealings in property still on the subject of income taxation. Of course, we already know what are the two classifications of assets. So first we have ordinary assets and then the capital assets. So let us distinguish one from the other. So unahin na natin ang ordinary assets. So the following are considered ordinary assets: stock in trade of the taxpayer or other property of a kind which would be properly be included in the inventory of the taxpayer. So sinabing it will be part of the inventory of the taxpayer, then pwedeng it's either yung ini-inventory kasi ibig sabihin yung kinikep sa storeroom, pwedeng merchandise inventory to be sold or pwede rin namang yung mga be used such as yung mga supplies, etc. etc. Next, next is yung property held by the taxpayer primarily for sale to customer in the ordinary course or trade or business. So yun, dapat meron talaga silang intention to sell yung item. So pwede siyang real property basta ang business ng ang operation ng business is to sell lot or even houses. So pwede siyang maging inventory pa rin. Basta ang intention is to be sold. Next, property used in the trade or business of a character which is subject to allowance for depreciation. So ito rin yung mga properties na gagamitin subject to depreciation. So, ginagamit rin sa business. Hindi siya ibibenta pero ginagamit sa business. And ang last is real property used in trade or business. So, maski real property siya, considered siya as ordinary assets if it is being used in the business. And of course, kapag binenta mo yung ordinary asset, it would result to gain or loss. So the gain earned in sale of ordinary assets is subject to basic tax. Pero if it is otherwise, kung loss naman siya, it is deductible bago mo compute yung taxable income. So, ulitin natin, if it is gain, then it is taxable. And if it is loss, ang result ng sale sa ordinary asset, then it is fully deductible. So, next, let's proceed sa capital assets naman. So, ang capital assets definition is, if the assets daw is not classified under ordinary assets, then it is a capital asset. So, meaning, hindi nag-qualify sa first four na minention natin example ng ordinary assets, then assets will automatically be classified as capital asset. And accordingly, yung transaction mo sa capital assets, just like yung ordinary assets kanina, pwede ka rin magkaroon ng capital gain at saka capital loss. So of course, nangyayari yung net capital gain, alam niyo na, kapag ang sales price is higher than yung cost and expenses incurred sa pagbenta ng capital assets. While, syempre, magkakaroon naman ng loss or net loss sa capital asset kapag ang selling price ng capital asset ay mas mababa compared sa cost and expenses ng capital asset na binenta. So again, I would just like to emphasize yung rules natin sa gains and losses ng ordinary assets at saka capital assets. So una natin yung ordinary assets, nabanggit na natin kanina. Yung gain on sale is subject to tax of sale of ordinary assets. So sale of ordinary assets, I should say. So yung gain, yung ordinary gain on sale of ordinary assets is subject basic tax, while yung loss naman, kung merong loss, will be deductible bago mo makompute yung taxable income. While sa capital asset naman, meron tayong rules applicable lang sa individual. So, sabi dito, if the taxpayer is other than corporation, the following percentages of gain and losses shall be recognized. So, pwedeng hindi fully taxable and hindi fully deductible yung gains at saka losses na-earn sa capital asset transaction. So again, ulitin natin, ang rule na ito ay applicable lang sa taxpayer na other than corporation. So for example, individual. So ano yung rule natin na yun? Sa computation ng net capital gain at saka net capital loss na taxable at saka deductible. So ito yung first. So 100% of the capital asset i-recognize mo sa gain or loss if the capital assets has been held for not more than 12 months. So, ibig sabihin, 12 months or less, ang i-recognize mong gain or loss is 100%. Again, ulitin natin, para lang ito sa mga taxpayer other than corporation. So, for example, ang gain mo is 100,000, 100,000 ang i-recognize mong gain. Kapag 12 months or less ang holding period ng capital asset. Ngayon, kung loss naman siya, ganun din. Kapag ang holding period ng capital asset na nagkaroon ng loss nung binenta ay less than 12 months or less rather, then it is also recognized 100% yung loss. So, kung ang loss niya ay 200,000, then recognize mo yung loss na 200,000. So, that is para sa mga capital asset na short term. Ano ibig sabihin ng short term? Yung holding period niya is less than 12 months or less. Ngayon, doon naman tayo sa long term na tinatawag natin. Ibig sabihin, pag long term, hindi siya short term. Ibig sabihin, yung holding period ng capital asset na yon na binenta is more than 1 year. So, nag-exceed na siya ng 12 months. So, ang rule natin na doon is only 50% of the gain or loss will be recognized. So, yung example natin kanina, kung nagkaroon ng gain ng 100,000 at long term yung capital asset, and kalahati lang, 50% lang ang re-recognize mo. So, only 50,000 ang taxable. While, kung sabi natin kaninang loss na 200,000, kapag long-term yung capital asset, yung loss is 50% din. So, 100,000 nang i-recognize lang. Okay, so let's proceed to this topic. What is the selling price now? So, selling price includes the amount realized from the sale and other disposition of property, which shall include, so yung the sum of money received and fair value of non-cash properties received. So just in case na may binigay na pera, so kung magkano yung pera na binayad, and then kung meron pang property na binigay, yung fair market value niya. O kung ang binayad ay pera, di yung amount ng money ang selling, consider yung amount ng money ang kino-consider as selling price, o kung ang pinangbayad naman sa case ng exchange ay property din yung fair market value ng property ang consider nating selling price. Okay, so yung model natin or yung formula natin to determine yung gain or loss is selling price minus yung basis, yung tax basis or yung adjusted basis of the assets disposed, no? So yung difference ng dalawang yun, subtract mo, makukuha mo gain or loss. Ngayon, what is the tax basis daw? So ano ang tax basis? What is tax basis? The tax basis refers to the cost, the carrying amount, depreciated cost of an asset. So it's either, ang nire-refer niyang tax basis is yung cost ng property or yung carrying amount or yung depreciated cost ng property. So yun yung basis natin sa pag-determine kung nagkaroon ba ng gain or loss. Siyempre, kailangan yung basis i-compare natin sa selling price. Ano nga ba yung difference sa corporate taxpayer at saka individual taxpayers with regards to measurement of net capital gain and net capital loss? So, ganon. Sinabi na natin kanina. So, yung rules sa taxpayer other than corporate taxpayer. So, which is yung tinatawag nating individual. So, sabi natin sa individual, sa capital asset, magkaiba yung treatment. Kasi sa individuals, mayroon tayong tinatawag na holding period. Yung holding period natin, ano yung effect ng holding period natin? Holding period natin is short term or long term. Short term kapag 12 months or less. Long term kapag more than 12 months. Sinabi na natin kanina ang consequence nun. Kapag ang capital assets ay nag-result sa gain or loss, kapag short term, 100% taxable, at saka kapag income, kapag gain rather, and 100% deductible naman kapag loss. Pero kapag long term, yung capital asset, hinold na siya for more than 1 year, then only 50% na ang i-recognize dun sa gain or loss. So, titin natin, yung rule na yun is applicable lang sa non-corporate taxpayer. Ibig sabihin sa individual. So, ibig sabihin yung corporation, yung holding period does not it's not a requirement. Yung holding period does not apply or it is not a requirement. Ibig sabihin, parang sa corporation, parang ordinary gain or loss lang yan, na it is 100% taxable and 100% deductible. Okay, so let's proceed sa basis of the 50% rule on other capital assets held long-term by individuals. So individual taxpayers daw are subject to progressive tax. Wherein, ang ibig sabihin ng progressive tax is, of course, mas mataas yung income ay mas mataas yung tax rate. And since yung capital gain, immediately, hindi naman siya natatax over time. And, syempre, yung capital asset, knowing its nature habang tumatagal yan, tumataas yung price. So, ayun. To compromise, yung mga legislator, nag-decide sila na only 50% of gains and losses ng long-term capital assets held by individuals will be taxed and allowed as deduction. Okay, so unlike sa corporation kasi, wherein it is fixed tax rate, yung individual, tumataas yung income tax rate habang tumataas yung profit. So, yun yung rationale, kaya to compromise, 50% lang ang discuss yung capital loss carry over. So individuals are allowed to carry over a net capital loss rather, as a deduction against net capital gain following the year subject to following limit. So mayroon tayong dalawang limit. Limit 1, amount of net income in the year the net loss was sustained. And limit 2, the available net capital gain in the following year. So to summarize, yung amount of net capital loss carryover is whichever is lowest between yung actual net capital loss and then yung limit 1, which is yung amount of net income in the year of capital loss. So kung magkano yung net income nung nagkaroon ng capital loss, so yun yung isang pangalawang limit. Yung pangalawang limit is yung amount ng available na capital gain. So, titin natin, whichever is lowest. So yung loss na carry over, compare mo sa net loss, yung net capital loss dun sa year kung kailan nagkaroon ng net capital loss, and then yung available na capital gain. So ibig sabihin, ang loss carryover is 100,000 and ang available lang ng capital gain is 50,000. So hindi mo pwedeng i-deduct yung 100,000. So hanggang sa extent lang ng available na capital gain. Sales. So the rules on wash sales was properly discussed in chapter 6. So let us just recall yung concept ng wash sales o yung tinatawag natin na 61-day period. So yung wash sales ay yung tinatawag nating 30 days before and after the date of the disposal of security at a loss. So kung nagbenta ka, for example, today, February 13, ng security at mayroong loss, so pwedeng yung loss on that sale ay considered as a wash sale. No? So bibilang ka lang ng 30 days before and 30 days after, kaya including yung day ng disposal, so 61 day. Kaya tinawag na 61 day rule. So titingnan mo kung may acquisition before and after, and pag meron, then it is considered as wash sale. So ibig sabihin, yung loss will not be recognized. It is washed. Kasi mayroong acquisition before and after. Ibig sabihin, for example, after nagbenta ka ng security at a loss noong February 13 and then noong February 20 bumili ka ng similar shares, then parang nawala yung kasi nagkaroon ka ulit ng shares na ganon. So dapat parehas, dapat para ma-consider siya as wash sales, dapat yung security is substantially identified. Tax-free exchanges. So number 1, tax-free exchange is corporate reorganization, and number 2 is yung initial acquisition of control. So mayroon tayong tatlong cases wherein yung corporate, illustrate yung corporate reorganization. So una is yung corporate party to a merger or consolidation. So magko-combine yung business. So kung business combination ang yung case na yan, no? Pangalawa is yung shareholder of a party to a merger or consolidation. So yung una is yung corporation. It's a party to a merger and consolidation. So yung yung juridical being, yung corporation, no? Ang party sa merger or consolidation. Yung pangalawa is yung stockholder, yung individual. The shareholder magiging party to a merger or consolidation. And then yung number 3 is security holder of a party to a merger and consolidation. So under this case, no gain or loss shall be recognized for the property for stock transaction pursuant to a planned merger or consolidation. Next tayo, yung initial acquisition of control naman. No gain or loss shall be recognized if property is transferred to a corporation by a person in exchange for stock or unit of participation in such corporation, of which, as a result of such exchange, said person alone or together with others not exceeding 4 persons. So, yun yung kanyang requirement. So, the following are considered exchanges and therefore subject to the tax rules of dealings in property. So number 1 is retirement of bonds, debenture, notes, certificates, and other evidence of indebtedness. So consider yun as exchanges, transaction and exchanges. Short sale of property. So what is short sale of property? Sale by a speculator of securities borrowed in anticipation of a decline in security value. So when the security price falls, the speculator gains by buying at the lower price and replacing the borrowed securities he sold. So, ayun. From dun sa description itself, very self-explanatory. So, ibibenta mo yung hiniram mong security and then, kasi alam mo na bababa yung price niya and then, pag bumaba yung price niya, bibili ka ngayon ng securities pampalit dun sa hiniram mong na binentang security. So, yun yung tinatawag natin short sale of property. Short sale of property is yung parang bibenta mo yung hindi pa sa iyo in order to gain kasi nga hihiramin mo lang. Number 3, failure to exercise a privilege or option to buy or sell a property that is a capital asset. So ito yung tinatawag nating option money. Minsan sa transaction in order to retain your right na acquire a property, nagkakaroon tayo ng seed money or option money. So in that case, yung option money is considered as exchange or exchange transaction. Number 4 is yung security becoming worthless. No? So alam niyo na ibig sabihin ng securities of becoming worthless. So this occurs when the issue of a debt or equity security becomes bankrupt and such that none is recoverable by the investor. So wala nang value yung investment. Numbers 5, receipt of liquidating dividends. So actually, sabi nga natin yung liquidating dividends is not actually a dividends but it is a return of investment. The difference between the proceeds of liquidating dividends and the cost of the investment is a capital gain. Sa case na mas malaki yung na-receive mo kumpara sa iyong investment. So, pwede kang magkaroon ng gain doon. Number 6, the amount received in liquidation of a partnership is also deemed in exchange of the partnership interest. Ayan. So, parang ganun din yung sa number 5 ito. Parang return of investment. This time sa partnership lang. Partnership lang. So, nakatanggap ka ng amount dahil ililiquidate na yung partnership. So, ibig sabihin, it is a return of investment. So, ganun din, pag sumobra yung nakuha mo compare dun sa in-invest mo, ibig sabihin, meron kang income. Number 7, redemption of shares for cancellation or retirement. Yan. So, bibilhin mo yung shares sa shareholder and then ika-cancel. And then, number 8 is voluntary buyback of shares. So, to be held in treasury is considered exchange to the investor. So, considered daw siya as exchange. Bibilhin mo sa mga buyback of shares. So, parang magiging treasury share siya. So, kung accountancy kayo, very familiar kayo kung ano ibig sabihin ng treasury stock or treasury shares. Ito yung shares na inisyu sa mga shareholder and then subsequently binili ng mga binili ng corporation para ilagay sa treasury. So, tinatawag natin yun na treasury